Welcome to TrendWatch. We learned that intrinsic value and extrinsic value, which is also known as time value, are the two components in option premium. Intrinsic value is relatively easy to grasp, as we discussed in detail in Tutorial 109. However, understanding time value can be less intuitive. Let's break it down for clarity and conciseness. Time value is defined as the difference between the option premium and its intrinsic value. This formula alone does not clearly convey the characteristics of time value. However, we can understand that time value represents the cost the buyer pays to compensate the seller for the time they must wait until expiration. Time value exists because there is always a possibility that the buyer can profit from the option before it expires. Any option contract that has not yet expired will always retain time value. Here are the call option chains for NVIDIA, expiring on June 20th and December 19th, respectively. The first column lists the various strike prices for each expiration date. The second column shows the corresponding intrinsic values, while the third column displays the extrinsic values, also known as time values. From this example, you will notice two key characteristics regarding time value. First, the time value of options expiring on December 19th is higher than that of options expiring on June 20th. This difference occurs because options with longer expiration dates have more time to become profitable. As a result, sellers require compensation for the increased risk they assume. One important thing to note: the time value of an option decreases as it approaches its expiration date, even if the stock price remains relatively unchanged. This phenomenon is known as time decay. We will discuss this concept in detail in the next tutorial. Secondly, for options with the same expiration date, the time value increases as the strike price approaches the at-the-money level. The at-the-money strike price has the highest time value. In contrast, both in-the-money and out-of-the-money options experience a decrease in time value as the strike price moves further away from the at-the-money level. This relationship is visually represented in this graph. What are the reasons behind this pattern? Let's examine it by considering out-of-the-money and in-the-money options separately. For out-of-the-money options, there is no intrinsic value if exercised immediately. The only value this option has is the time value because it is not yet expired. The buyer still has every opportunity to make it an in-the-money option. However, the probability of making it to in-the-money option differs. The further away the strike price is from current stock price, the probability of making it to in-the-money is lower, and hence lower in time value. Using the same example, the time value of call option strike price of $106 is $7.64, while strike price $103 is $9, because there is a higher chance that $103 strike price would become in the money than $106 by June 20th. On the other hand, it is less intuitive for in-the-money options. Let us look at two in-the-money call options, strike prices of $100 and $97. If the stock price rises, both call options are profitable when exercised. However, you need to know that the potential absolute return of both options is the same at expiration. Let me explain why. The current intrinsic value of both options is $1.49 and $4.49 respectively. If the stock price of NVIDIA rises by $5 to $106.49 on expiration, the intrinsic value for both options increases by the same amount of $5. Despite having the same absolute return, the risk factor for both options is different. The deeper an option's strike price is in the money, the closer its value approaches the maximum potential. This proximity reduces the impact of time decay on its price. You might still be confused by the concepts explained above, and that's perfectly fine. For now, it's more important to understand the conclusion than to grasp all the underlying reasons. You will fully appreciate the essence of these concepts as you gain more experience in options trading. If you have a simpler way to explain this concept, please leave your comment below to help others understand it better. Thank you for watching.